Hello there. Need my phone. Hello there. Back for another Monday night stream. Doesn't feel like another week's gone by, but there we go. I'll be giving people a chance to join us before I get started. Though actually I may get started right away because it might take some time. And yeah, why not? Also, I kind of hope this will serve as a tutorial for anyone that's interested in space battles in iClone. So I'm going to get the wrong star field. I'm going to get the scene underway. So basically what I'm going to do is, last week on the stream people asked me about what it'd be like to animate a space battle, and even though there aren't any space battles for a while in Heir to the Empire, I thought I will just put one together anyway. And given the chat from last week, I think that might be a good idea. I was still amused by that space battle that took place. So of course we're going to have the Chimera in here. That's quite a big model, so to zoom out just a little bit. And for the other side, home 1. Now, to start with, I'm just going to have these two ships. Obviously they're on opposite sides of the fight. So we're going to position them. That's not going to be the final position. Actually, wait a minute. Home 1 isn't that big, so we will shrink it down to the correct size. Floopy, welcome. Still a little too big. That should be about right. Mon Calamari cruisers are slightly shorter than Imperial Star Destroyers, so I think that's about the right size. Sky, welcome. And welcome. More people joining us. I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out, the Abraxas fight. So what I'm doing this week is animating. It's just going to be a simple space battle. I'm not going to go anything too elaborate, but I thought it might serve as a little tutorial for anyone that's interested in creating battle scenes for with iClone. Obviously I'm using Star Wars ships here, but it would work for any kind of spaceship model. 3D model, you could have Star Trek ship, Babylon 5 ships, custom designed, whatever takes your fancy. But obviously because this is a Star Wars series I'm working on, I'm going to be using Star Wars ships. Sherry, welcome. Berserker, glad you're here. I see you changed your name to Berserker of Thrawn. That's a excellent choice. Hopefully the Grand Admiral will make an appearance and show his appreciation for that. So I'm almost set up. What I need next is lighting. Oh, custom lighting, that's it. Because I've got some presets already. Yep, that one. And the Actually, you know what? I should just use this one. Well, I'm glad you're all standing by for the Battle of Abraxas in the chat. Just in case anyone was watching this as a tutorial rather than later on, rather than watching the stream live, in the chat there was a space battle that took place between people who were enjoying last week's stream, and they've promised for another battle in the chat this week. So if you're wondering why I'm talking, I may interact with people like that, and you just want to see this tutorial and it doesn't make any sense what I'm talking about, that's what I'm doing. I'll be responding to the people in the chat, because I'm excited to see how that battle goes as well. Mifune Akira, welcome. You'll be learning how to make a space battle this week. Star Destroyer is a little bit bright, but that is okay. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, change the sky back. Star Wars Lightspeed, welcome. So what I'm going to do, Somebody X, welcome. Star Destroyer is a tiny bit too bright, so what I'm going to do is darken the texture just a little bit. -10. Hoopy, welcome. If you're using Vong, you may find yourself at odds with the rest of the galaxy. So just darkening the texture of the Star Destroyer a little bit because it's a tiny bit too bright. I think that's everything that's important. There are a lot of components to the Star Destroyer model, so it's quite easy to miss bits. Basically, I want to be able to see the details and not get it lost in the... because the light's reflecting too brightly on it. I think that will do for now. If I need to, I can change it later. So we've got the two ships. I haven't really decided how they're going to maneuver around each other. In fact, they may just stay stationary for now. And actually, no, that's not any good. They need to move. So I think we'll go 20 seconds in, and we can give them. They can broadside each other. So I'm limiting the length of the project there to 20 seconds. That's what the slider does. So when I'm running through it, it doesn't go beyond that. I can change it again later if I want to, which I probably will. Just got a slight problem with the lights, which I'm going to fix. So these lights presets I've already done because this is the lighting I've set. Obviously, if you're making your own scene, you can go with whatever lighting settings you want. But these presets are ones that I've spent a lot of time experimenting to try and recreate the lighting conditions that they would have in the actual Star Wars footage when they were making the original trilogy. Thomas, you're only a little bit late. I haven't really done that much. Darth Muscovoy, welcome. So I've been playing around with this and not paying attention to who's joined the chat, so I do apologise. Berserker, thank you. I'm not sure where the Grand Admiral is. I'm sure he will arrive precisely when he means to, according to whatever his grand plan is. Right, so what we're going to do is going to move the Star Destroyer forward. And we want it to be about here. Actually, about there. And there we go. So I've created at 20 seconds in, I've created a keyframe moment. So we just change that so it's a linear movement. So this is obviously a little bit faster than a Star Destroyer would move, but for demonstration purposes I think it will be fine. Yes, they are going to broadside each other. Actually, I think the Star Destroyer came forward just a little too much. So if I move it back there, it will be slower. Now we're going to do the same thing with the Mon Calamari cruiser. Move it forward. And we want it to be about there, I think. Turn that way. Again, I will change the movement to be linear, because they're not adjusting speed, they're just changing direction. That's actually a really good speed. Moving the Star Destroyer back slowed it to about the right speed. Perfect. So we'll go back to the beginning. Now, yeah, fire is the next thing that they're going to do. So this Mon Calamari cruiser model doesn't really have any obvious turbo laser emplacements, so I'm just going to kind of place them randomly in places that I think would look right. So going to particle, ship weapons, wrong ship weapons, lasers, that's what we want. Ship weapons is referring to an old project where it was sailing ships. This isn't for any battle in Heir to the Empire, it's just last week people asked me if what it'd be like to create a space battle. They wanted to see me do it, so I thought I would just make a space battle up and animate it. Joseph, I'm sorry you can't stay. Thank you for joining. You can, when the stream's finished, it will automatically be added to my channel on YouTube, so you can catch up with it there. Rebel laser. So as you can see, that's one turbo laser effect. Ignore the direction it's firing for now. I just needed to... Well, I'm not going to ignore it because it's firing off that way. And we want it to be firing that way. So this little blue shape is the emitter. So if we put it there, so this is the emitter so that I can see where it is, but when I actually render the battle itself, it won't show up. But I can also turn it off. So as you can see, it's firing off into the distance. Hello ho, yeah, I have one shot done on chapter 13 already. This isn't for it though. And yes, if those haven't noticed yet, chapter 12 is finished and will premiere on Thursday. You can find the exact time on the channel. It's 10 PM for me, but the clocks haven't changed yet. So I will not be trying to estimate the time difference between me and anywhere else, but it will tell you exactly what time it is for your time zone if you check it out on the channel. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone then. So this laser effect is actually a bullet effect which came with the effects plugin, but I've modified it. So I've used it in the previous space battle scenes for Heir to the Empire. Hunk, welcome. Glad you're enjoying this, and I can highly recommend iClone, and I'm glad you're enjoying the videos and finding them helpful. Right, so I need to turn the emitter back on because I need to see where it is so I can add more of them. Now here it says emit off, which I just set it to because when the scene starts I don't want it to start firing immediately. We'll come to that later on when the ship's in position. So I haven't actually tried making phaser effects. The beam, I could do the Wrath of Khan rapid fire pulse phasers. You could do the same method. Phaser effects the beam though. I would probably use a cylinder prim object, make it glow, and then position it from where it fires from and the target, and then you can stretch it to over a few frames to make it look like it's firing very quickly and hitting the target. Very similar to the way I did the lightsaber effects, I would guess. I'm going to move that to there. I think we want another one at the front, maybe there. So that's 5 laser emitters on for the cruiser. Let me just attach them to the cruiser itself, so when the cruiser moves, they will move with it. Now there's one other thing we're going to do, is pick their target. Obviously we want it to be the Star Destroyer. Oh, I forgot actually, that's actually really handy because the Star Destroyer is made out of many different components. So rather than have them fire all at the same part, we can experiment a little bit. Robotic Pope, welcome. Hunk, I do believe you can import DAS characters into iClone. I have not tried it, so I can't really talk about it too much other than I'm aware it's possible. there's a free trial version of iClone, which you can check out on the website. You could. I'd recommend downloading it and giving that a go. And I've never tried Poser either, somebody X. So I can't comment on it. Right, so we're gonna move to about there, and we'll start this one firing. Then we'll move to there, start that one. Just so I don't want them all to start firing at the exact same moment, because when you see the battles in Star Wars, the lasers are not perfectly lined up and not perfectly synced with their firing. So let's watch through what we've got so far. Now the lasers are going to pass through the Star Destroyer, because I haven't put the collision on yet. There we go. So there we go, we've got the cruiser fires at the Star Destroyer. Now what we need to do is have the Star Destroyer fire back. Now unlike the Calamari cruiser model, the Star Destroyer model actually has some gun emplacements as part of it. Now I'm not necessarily going to give each one a laser effect, because there are quite a lot of them. As you can see, look, we've got this one here, and then two more there, and another one there. So we're going to place that there. We're going to copy it. I'm holding down Control to copy. Let's go with one there. Yeah, I imagine that Thrawn is dealing with something, or he's arriving exactly when he intends to, for the perfect moment for his battle plan. So, well, I think that big cannon there needs some attention. So if that, obviously the Star Destroyer is a lot better equipped for combat than a Mon Calamari cruiser. I think we'll go for Floopy. The reason it's started an hour later is the clocks has changed for you, but they haven't changed for me yet. So it's still my normal time here in the UK, which is midnight. But that would certainly explain why his absence. He may have not expected me to be streaming today. I didn't think about that. Which is why I am not the Grand Admiral. Right, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Attach those lasers to the Star Destroyer. And we're going to go to about there. Actually, no, wait. They still need to target that. So now we can go to about there. We'll start that one firing first. I'm doing it this way so that they don't all fire at the exact same moment. At least that was the idea. So let's watch through what we've got so far. So I'm very happy with that. I know that the laser bolts are passing through the ships. That's not a problem at the moment. Right, so we're going to go back beginning again, because when I was doing the raid on Bafash, one of the things I was dreading was having to animate all of those fighters flying around. But then I discovered that there's, well, I didn't discover, I knew that it was already there. There was a emitter that basically creates asteroids, and you can modify it so the model it emits is not an asteroid, it can be something else. So I created an emitter that emits TIE fighters. So we're going to put one of those in. I can't remember which direction this is going to emit in, so we will just do a quick simulation. That's the wrong way. So we will turn it around that way. And we're going to move it there so that it's emitting here off behind the Star Destroyer, so when you actually see them flying past, you're not seeing them actually appear. So I've placed that emitter there. We're going to play again, and I still didn't quite get the angle right because they're going the wrong way. But you should see all these TIE fighters flying past. I pause it, and here's a TIE interceptor. These are very basic models because the emitter can only emit basic simple models, but that's fine because they're moving so fast you're not really going to get a good look at them anyway. It would help if I have it facing the right direction though. Also, they don't actually fire anything. It's more of a background effect. So we'll watch from the Mon Calamari cruiser's perspective, and you should be able to see all these fighters coming along. Now it's a little bit slow because it's streaming as I'm rendering this. So as I'm playing this back, when I actually render the video itself, it would be perfectly smooth, as you saw in the videos. There's a TIE bomber there. So that's how I create lots and lots of fighters. Of course, we know that the rebels like fighters as well, so we have the X-wing emitter. make sure it's... See, those are going in the right direction. Wait a minute. Yeah. For a moment I thought it was emitting TIE fighters, which would be bad. Yeah, what I meant by slow was it's a little bit laggy because my computer is having to process this and also capture this to be streamed. And this is actually quite demanding on my system. So we will move this X-wing emitter further back. Let's go there. Whoops. It helps if I center it on an object that's here. So at the moment I've got the camera just in the preview mode. Well, so the last thing I would do is go in and... Well, one of the last things I would do is be going and put some actual camera, an actual camera in, and we're not quite there yet. So we'll watch it through from here though. Yeah, I'm happy with the way that's looking. So far, there's definitely more things that we can add, such as using a similar trick to the fighters. We're going to add some more weapons fire. So I've got this Rebel Lasers emitter, which is basically exactly the same thing as the emitter that fires the fighters. Because the fighters themselves don't fire anything, it's not, iClone is not capable of doing that. So this kind of creates the illusion that the fighters are firing. And of course over here we will want the similar thing for the Empire. I think I'm going to have to turn that around. Yes, that's facing the wrong way. Still facing the wrong way. So let's watch through it again now I've placed those. Yep, there we go. And of course one more emitter, which is going to go right in the middle. It's the explosions. Because it's not a space battle without explosions. This isn't the proper explosions. This is just little tiny flashes of light for, you know, fighters exploding. It would help if I turn it on. So there we go, that's looking pretty good. I see the battle's getting started in the chat. Let's see. Let's put planets in the background. I don't know what just happened there. Oh, that's what happened there. The planet was so big. It blotted out the sky, which is a little bit too big. Harvey, welcome. So these are the two planets I made for Bafash. So we're going to have them over there. So it looks like this is what they're fighting over. Just changing these settings to traditional, because it changes the way the shadows look. And of course it turns out the lighting doesn't really match the direction that the lighting of the planet, so maybe I'll get rid of that. So what I will do instead is, the last 2 weeks I've been streaming making planets, so why not use one of those? So what I've done, forgive how bright this is, let me move that out of the way. That's just a simple, I call it an effect square. I'm sure there's a more technical name for what this would do. Basically it's just a very simple object, and I put textures on it for the background. And the texture I want is going to be one of the planets. So let's see. I've got to remember where I installed the. I'm just looking for the directory where I've got all the planets stored. So this will take a moment. Oh yeah, right. Last week I did a Brigadier, so I'll bring that in now so you guys can see. I'm trying to drag it onto the. Whoops! Just to drag this texture onto the sky instead of onto the window to the other universe, as you mentioned. This usually goes a bit smoother. It's a bit bright. Excuse me. We're going to tone down the brightness just a little bit on the planet. Of course, that's why it's so big. I rendered that planet to such a high res texture that it's struggling just a little bit. I think that'll do. It's a little bit pixelated because it's a huge texture and it takes a moment to process. There we go. Let's have it there. No, that's... There we go. So we've got the planet there. This is what the two ships are fighting over. Pepito, welcome. Anyone who's joined and I haven't given them a shout out, I do apologise. I've been watching what I've been doing here and not giving as much attention in the chat as I normally would, and that is not good. So I think one more thing I'm going to do is add... We'll call it a hero ship, and this is one because I've got all those background fighters that are randomly generated, but it's good to have a ship that you follow closely, and this one I'll animate more manually, I guess, so that we can follow it a little bit closer. And that's probably not the right scale, but let's make it a bit smaller. That's probably about right. If it's not right, too bad. So what we want it to do is follow a path. So let's say go that way. This is the path that the fighter is going to follow. As you can see, it's very two-dimensional. That we can change by going to the edit point, selecting. Selecting. There we go, and then we can move it up and down as well. Actually, I think we'll start it below. Seal, welcome. Not to worry. X-Heart is an excellent streamer, so I don't blame you for watching what he has to say. Now this isn't going to be terribly smooth because I am just kind of throwing this together. So what I'm doing is, this isn't for Heir to the Empire, but last week people were asking me if I'd show making a space battle, and I thought, well, I don't have one coming up. But there's no reason why I can't just put one together anyway. Right, so the last bit of this is the points rotation. So when the fighter follows the path, it will rotate around. So at the moment, if it's like this, it won't turn, it won't roll as it turns, and by changing the point orientation, it will do that. It will tilt as it moves. So we'll just go through that one, that one. Can't see which way that one goes. There we go, that one. Wrong angle again. Last one. So then I'll go to the object list, find the X-Wing, and we will attach it to the path. There we go. Now as you can see, it's not lined up with the path just right yet, so we need to follow path, change the axis to -y, and we'll skip to the end of this section and put 100% into the path position. So what should happen now? Hold on. For some reason, it's not following. Oh, okay, it's there. So the X-Wing will follow the path around. Now it's quite small, so you're not really going to be able to see it that well. But I think what we'll do is it's time to create a camera. Sherry, I'm glad you're enjoying it. This is just a thrown together battle. Normally when I'm doing this I will plan it out a little bit more carefully than this. I'm just kind of throwing this together. I can put a TIE Defender in this. I'll add one after I finish the X-Wings sequence. So we've got the camera here, and we want it to... This is not going to be the best camera work I've ever done. So I've moved it forward to here. I think that should give us an idea of how it's going to look. We want to change that to linear so it follows. Didn't go quite as smoothly as I thought it would. Let's move the camera back there. I don't normally do this, but we'll have the camera look straight at the X-Wing as it's moving. See, if I was going to make this into a fleet battle, I would copy... There is a cheat way to do this, which is basically just to take the ships and copy them. Let's see, place them there. Of course, it's putting them back into the positions they... Right, so we don't want it to merge with the original. Eldon Canet, welcome and thank you so much for those kind words. So I'm just throwing together a space battle here. It's not going to be part of Heir to the Empire, but people have been asking me if I could show making a space battle, so I thought why not. This one is just going to move forward. The Star Destroyer, I think we'll tilt it a little bit and have it turn. Of course, having all of that going on is quite demanding on my system. Which is fine because it looks great. And when it renders out as a proper video, it'll be perfectly smooth. So I've just disabled those other two ships for now. They're still there, but they're not going to show, just to make it a little bit easier. And I believe someone wanted to see a TIE Defender, so do I still have my TIE Defender model? Eldon, I'm glad that this has inspired you to play Empire at War. I have to admit, I was playing Rebellion for about an hour before I started this stream. So we have a TIE Defender here. It's actually looking a lot better than I thought it was going to look. Under this lighting, it looks perfect. Except for those bits. But not to worry, I'm not going to worry about that for now. What should I make this do? So when I have fighters like this, I can make them fire. But this one doesn't actually have any lasers attached to it. And yes, the old Rebellion PC game. Though under Windows 10, the space battles have an interesting glitch where the ships are not loading the textures properly. They're all multicolored, so I need to see if there's a way to fix that. Right, so that's facing the wrong direction, which isn't really a problem. I'll just change the direction. That's better. I played all those games as well. A lot. Probably more than I really want to think about. But then they were such good games. So it's not really a surprise that I spent so much time playing them. I think TIE Fighter is one of my favourite games that's ever been made. I wasn't really in a flying kind of mood, I was thinking more of a strategic kind of mood, so that's why I was playing Rebellion today. And it's still such a great game. So when the pandemic started, I bought a Nintendo Switch, and I'm glad that old Star Wars games are being ported to it. And I know it's very unlikely, but I really wish that Rebellion would get a Switch port, because then I could just play it anywhere. Right, so I just put some laser emitters. Well, I've just aligned them with the TIE Defender. Let me just attach them. So now they're attached. I have played Squadrons and I enjoyed it, but I haven't played it recently. I know the TIE Defender has ion cannons, but for this demonstration, I'm just going to stick with the 6 lasers. Generally, I actually prefer the ion cannons, but just for this, we're going to go with the 6 lasers. I don't have a VR headset, so I can imagine it looks great. It's just not something that I can really afford, so maybe one day. So we're going to create another path. Let's see. Create path. We start there. We're going to go this way. We'll change the colour of it so I don't get confused to red. Yeah, the ion cannons were really useful on the TIE Defender in the game. But just to make this a little bit simpler, though, I'll be sticking with lasers. If I was going to put the TIE Defender in a more accurate battle, I would give it the ion cannons. Lower that bit. This is the one that needs to go up. The Otana was one of my favourite ships to fly in X-Wing Alliance, which is why I really wanted to use it in Imperials. The YT-2000 doesn't get as much attention as it should, so of course I had to put it in Imperials. So we'll attach the tie defender to... I was pressing the wrong button. I'm getting tired. Right. Path, attach. Now this looks like it might be a little bit... Oh, hold on. That needs to go. There we go. So the tie defender may be a little bit too big for the scale, but again, this is just a test project, so for demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to worry too much about getting everything completely accurate. I have read lots of Legends books. I haven't read all of them, but I have read quite a lot of them. I don't think I could list all of the ones I have read. I hope you guys like... excuse me. I hope you guys like what I did with Nomad City in chapter 12 when you see it on Thursday. What colour should I give this? Go for orange. So what I'm going to do here is create a camera, another one, and pick path. We're going to pick the orange path, and then we're going to set it to look at the tie defender. So we go to the end of the shot here and set to basically follow the path right to the end. Because when you're selecting the path movement, you can select the percentage of the path it would follow. So we'll go with that. And basically we will follow it. So these blue shapes attached to the defender are basically the laser emitters. And we want it to fire, so let's start here. My favourite starfighter, I would have to say this TIE Defender that we're looking at right now. But the scale of this is a bit too big, so let's reduce it to 2. And this one. Basically, the global scale is changing the size of the lasers that fires from the emitter, and if you get it too big, obviously big lasers are nice, but it can obscure the picture if it's too big. The other thing I need to do is get rid of the muzzle flash. Not very realistic, but the muzzle flash does tend to stay where it was emitted, the exact position where it was emitted from. So even though the emitter itself moves, because it's attached to the ship, the flash stays where it is, and I find that it's kind of distracting. But let's have a look. Didn't really show up because there's so many lasers flying around. Oh yeah, let's set it to by frame. It'll play back in slow motion, but then we should get a better look. So we should be able to see the TIE defender is firing. And once it gets past the cruiser, we want it to stop firing, so we will turn the lasers off here. So basically, they will only fire in between the parts on the timeline between where I set the emitter on and where I set it off. And when we get to about here, let's see, go back to the camera. Camera is at position 74%. So what we're going to do is cut to make the camera jump ahead here, so we get to see it coming up there. Oh, Rhino, welcome. It's nice, always nice to see you here. What I've been doing is, last week people were asking if I would show making a space battle, and I thought, well, there isn't one coming up, but I would just make one anyway. So I just kind of thrown this together. When the stream's finished, you can go back and catch up with how it all came together from the beginning. So let's play back what we've got here. Oh, thank you. This has all been done in the last hour. When I started iClone up, it was completely empty. So I didn't do anything else in advance. Unless you count things like creating the assets and the effects and things. But that's because I've used them previously in the series, especially in the Battle of Pafash. But rather than create those effects from scratch, I'm just reusing the same ones, which is exactly what I would do when the next battle does actually, happen. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. If you were looking at the X-Wing, you probably wouldn't be quite so impressed. So let's show the X-Wing that I animated earlier. I'm not really happy with the way that camera... Actually... which I believe I got it from sci-fi3d.com, but I don't remember offhand. Right, so using the exact same techniques I used for the TIE Defender camera, I'm going to make one for the X-Wing. Choose a different colour for it. No, it needs to be a bit darker than that. Give it a dark blue. Andrew, welcome. So we want the camera to follow that to be on the path. So it starts there. Oh yeah, that's because... Hold on. No, that's not because of that. I don't know why this camera isn't running quite so smoothly as the other one. I've got one other theory, which I think is this. Yeah, there we go. Nope. So what I should probably just do is set the... There we go. So I got the camera is going to follow the X-Wing perfectly. Now, what we want to do is to make the camera not follow the exact same path, because otherwise it's fairly static to the X-Wing. So we're going to change that just a little bit. Edit point. So we're going to change the start position of the camera to there. Let's see how that looks. So the final thing is the switching, the switcher. So we'll start with this shot here. This is going to be kind of rough because, again, I'm not doing this as a proper space battle. The switch the mode to switch, and then it the TIE Defender camera is definitely the better of the two, but we can basically it cuts between the two cameras. So yeah, that's it. That's basic space battle. Now when I'm doing this for real, I would probably spend a lot more time animating things manually. Like I just done this demonstration with this X-Wing and the TIE Defender, because you need some ships that follow the whatever your plan is for the scenes, for the battle sequence. And I would spend a lot more time working that out and animating them. But just for this test, I think this will work nicely. Battles do take a lot of planning to figure out how they're going to unfold. It's more than just having ships blasting each other. Well, I hope so. Chapter 12 gets released on Thursday. Because of daylight savings, the time zone is kind of messed up. It's the usual time for me at 10 o'clock, but I do realise that on America and Canada, I believe, the clocks have changed. So if you go to my main channel and check the premiere listing, it'll give you the exact time for your time zone, which is quite handy. I'm not going to try and guess what it could be for everyone, when the actual result's going to be right there. I'm actually really proud of how this thrown together space battle turned out. I think I'm going to have to change the battery in my mouse at some point because it does keep stopping. Let's get rid of all the unnecessary things and we can watch it properly. That's better. It's very handy, the reminder feature. It also reminds me, although I don't tend to forget when the premieres of my own stuff are going to be, but it does send me a little reminder, which is nice. Excuse me. I am getting tired, so I may stop the stream shortly, especially since I've kind of put this together. I would, for a proper scene, I would spend a lot more time smoothing out the animations as well. Like the TIE Defender does have some jagged turns, and the X-Wing movement isn't anywhere near as good as I would want for an actual video. But just to give everyone an idea of how this works, I'm happy with what I've done here tonight. Flippy, what do we call ourselves? You mean... What do you mean? Darth's Angel. Okay, I don't know. I have to give it some thought. I do like the idea of Darth's Angels. Children of the Empire, that's a good one. Alright, so what I'm going to do, give me some suggestions of what we think it should be called, and then I'll put a poll up on the channel. We'll go with whichever one wins. So we've got Children of the Empire, Darth's Angels, Thrawn's Hand, The Fleet of Narodo, though I kind of really like Darth's Angels. To the point I may not do the poll and just go with that. Darth Angels. I really like that. And you are such a great group of people. So I think calling you angels is appropriate. Yeah, so we're going to go with Darth's Angels as our group name. I think that's right. It's also given me a couple of ideas, which I need to develop a little bit more. But maybe I'll have something for you for next week. Well, Aaron, I'm glad that it's chill. You find it chill. I just like making things and then chatting with you guys as I'm making things. And talking about what I'm making or talking about Star Wars or whatever. It, just keeping it kind of light and fun. You guys have created a really good atmosphere here, and it's nice every Monday to come here and do something and chat with you, respond to whatever you guys are up to in the chat. I believe Imperial Knights is an actual group in the Legacy comics. Empire's Angels is a good idea, and Red-Eyed Warriors. Yeah, no trolls here. That's very important. I think Star Wars is a huge franchise, and that covers the original films, the prequels, the sequels, got Clone Wars, books, Rebels, and so much. And it's not possible to like everything because the stories are different. But I feel like it's important that no matter what aspect of Star Wars you're a fan of, you are welcome here. So if you don't like part of it, that's fine. Let other people enjoy it if they like it. But yeah, everyone's welcome here. Yeah, that's what I thought. I never really got too far with the Legacy comics because I just got really behind on it, and then I went to the comic book shop to pick them up, and they gave me about 20. No, not 20 issues. They gave me more issues than I could get through, and then I went back, and it was again. I just lost I got too far behind. I did buy. I'm pretty sure I bought the digital versions when Dark Horse Comics were about to lose the license. They had a massive sale in their store, so you could buy, I think it was 90% off the entire Star Wars collection or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, it was ridiculously cheap, so I just bought everything that I hadn't read, or everything I had read and liked, and a lot of stuff I hadn't read and thought I'd get around to at some point. So I've got lots to read. I just still haven't got around to it because that was years ago. Well, since I haven't really read much of the Legacy era stuff, I don't think I'd be the right person to bring that to life. I think someone who is more familiar with that time period should do it. So one of the other things is, I've had a lot of comments from people saying that they've never read Heir to the Empire or any of the books. Some of them have heard of it, they just not got into it, and some have never heard of it. And so they're saying that because they've watched the chapters that I've made, it's made them go out and buy the books or want to read the books, and so they're going to go and track down copies. And I think that's important because it's bringing attention to those books that otherwise they may have missed. I mean, maybe every trilogy of Star Wars has brought in new fans, regardless of whether previous fans liked it or not. It's brought more fans in, and so I think it's important to be able to keep some of these stories alive, like Heir to the Empire. So if people watching this are inspired to go and read the books, that's great. Which is why I don't want to exclude any parts of Star Wars, because then it alienates those people who might not be familiar with the books. So I think it's important to be inclusive, because then you can say, well, if you like this, go and check out Heir to the Empire. And then I can also say that going and reading the book is going to be a lot faster than waiting for me to finish it to find out what happens next. And then hopefully when they get to the end of Heir to the Empire, they think, well, I need to know what happens after that, so they go and get the Dark Force Rising and the Last Command. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Perfect example of introducing someone to the books from this series. So I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. I think I'm going to call it a night there, because it is 1:30 AM. Well, 1:28. And so I should probably go to bed. But as always, it's been great talking to you guys and showing off how to make a space battle. I'm not going to do Dark Empire because someone is already animating Dark Empire. He released episode 2 a couple of weeks ago. So just look it up on YouTube. I can't remember the exact title of it. But yeah, if you look it up after the stream, he's got 2 episodes so far, and he's using the audio from the audio drama adaptation, I believe. And he's drawing it by hand, so it's 2D animation rather than what I'm doing here, but it's still an animated Dark Empire, so go and check that out. So yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope to see you on Thursday at the Chapter 12 premiere. If you can't make it, it will be available to watch immediately afterwards, like it always is. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week when I stream whatever it is I decide to stream. So take care, may the Force be with you.